Aries. How are you? Happy March 28th, full moon today, in about 9 hours. I apologize for missing yesterday, although I'm happy because now I get to focus on the full moon, which I love this moon. But yes, I am too old to be drinking champagne, and I celebrated a little too much on my birthday, though it was well deserved. And so I was kind of not in the best place to be reading yesterday. So I wanted to wait until my energy was back. But everything happens for a reason. So here we are. I'm starting with this because I really want to talk about this moon because I absolutely love it. And I've been doing a lot of the solar return readings and they have been fantastic. And so I really just want to share this energy with everyone here. So a couple of things. First of all, to note that anyone who is born between March 20th and April 10th you see here how the North Node and Mars are traveling together. They have been essentially the North Node's going in the other direction, but they've been conjunct for that period of time. So March 20th to April 10th, which means that those of you who were born between those days will have that positioning in your solar return chart this year. And that is extremely important because it means that everything you do this year, all the action, all your motivation, particularly around communication, is supercharged and is instrumental to your destiny. So very important year for communications for anyone who was born between March 20th or April 10th. Doubled down anyone born between March 5th and April 10th. Yes, April 5th and April 10th, because then Mercury goes into Aries. And so that's, Mercury rules Gemini. So that is, it's going to be like a flash of brilliance. You'll have some brilliant new ideas this year that are life-changing, I think, potentially. The other people who will be positively affected are anyone who has Mars, a natal Mars, in Gemini between 11 and 20 Gemini, because those are the degrees that the North Node covers during Aries period. And so that will be in your solar return chart as well. If you don't know where your placements are, you can go to astro.com and they will run a chart for you for free. So that's one of the first things that I want to mention, that this right here is fabulous. Okay, particularly for Aries, because that's our ruling sign. Now, anyone who I actually have Mars in Gemini at 14. So today, this moon for me is also a Mars return. Mars return usually lasts about 2.5 years. And it kicks off a whole new sort of period in how you go after things, what you go after, what turns you on, things that you're working on, et cetera, et cetera. And because it's so connected to the North Node, anything that we're working on right now, particularly in this period, is directly connected to our destinies and to who we're meant to be in our life. And if we look up here, we have Saturn here at 11 degrees, who is trining this North Node. And that's just like, I usually hate Saturn because he's always the bad guy, but Saturn trining the North Node means that it's stuff that's going to stay. It's things that are built to last. So really exciting energy. Now, let's get into the moon itself. I had another thing I wanted to say, but I can't remember. All right. Anyway, it'll hopefully come back to me. So this is the chart for the full moon, which is wild, right? Because everything's on this side, and then you have this moon kind of like just beaming its light on all these planets. This moon is known as the worm moon, and it's known as the worm moon because the worms start to break through the ground and turn the soil over. So it is a symbol of a new beginning, that the ice from the winter has frozen, that the spring is upon us, that things are about to start growing. And that, that the topsoil is turning, things are changing. We'll start to see developments. Now, some people, there's a difference. There's always an argument, isn't there? In the scientific community, some people say this is a supermoon. Others say that only, I think April and May's are supermoon. So we either have 2 or 4, depends on the scientists you listen to. This moon is the 4th closest to Earth. So if that counts, then this is a supermoon. If not, then you're going to have to wait until April. But what we see here is the moon over here in opposition to the sun and Venus. Now, let me read these Sabian degrees to you. First of all, again, sun conjunct Venus, amazing energy. Could be meeting people, like meeting new people. This is one of those kind of finding the love of your life energies, or finding a creative idea that turns your life around, coming into money. You know, this all of the planets are extremely auspicious. Oh, that was the other thing I wanted to say. And they're all direct. This is the other thing. Until about April 10th, I think, or April 15th, all of the planets are direct, which means that it's like having just a full force of the energy of the sky behind you. We usually get this at the beginning of the year. We had it at the beginning of the year. We had a Mercury retrograde right smack in the middle. But this moment is so good for pushing things forward. Now, one thing I do want to mention, sorry, that's another thing I wanted to mention. Mars in Gemini here, as any of my fellow Mars in Gemini knows, is a very restless mind. It's super curious, needs to know everything, right? Hates not knowing, claps back with facts. So if you ever fight with someone who has a Mars in Gemini, make sure you're prepared. But it also means that we have to do everything twice, because we'll do something that we don't necessarily think things through. We're like, oh, that sounds like a good idea. Let me go and do that, which of course is natural to Aries to begin with. And with Mars and Gemini, that's even like doubled down on. So we don't think things through necessarily. We just start acting on things that we think would be a good idea. And they usually are a good idea, but then we come back and we're like, oh, but wait a second, maybe that color scheme is wrong, or maybe I should have done more of this, or maybe blah, blah, blah. And so you end up having to do things twice. And the second time is an upgrade on the first one. And the second time is when you kind of fix all the errors that had we just stopped and sat through and thought it through like a Capricorn would, we would have come up with them in the first place. But if we'd done the way a Capricorn would have, we would have never gotten it done. So going back to the Sabians. So we have the sun here at 8 degrees, sun and Venus at 8 degrees, sitting on, the Sabian says, a seer gazes intently into a crystal ball in front of them. Now, I don't know if you remember, but I think it was the new moon in Pisces, was talking about another seer manifesting, right? That she was finally like, if a psychic doesn't, or it was substantiating, right? If a psychic never actually predicts the future, are they a psychic? If religious people don't ever actually do anything that's nice, are they religious, And so this one talks now about this seer who perhaps has substantiated themselves, has proven, is now able to carry that identification, intently looking into a crystal ball in front of them. So seeing the future, imagining the future, seeing what could potentially unfold. And then we go over here on the other side to this moon here in Libra. And the Sabian here is 3 old masters in an art, 3 old masters hanging in a special room in an art gallery. Sometimes they seem to speak to each other. Now, I found this interesting because since I know the Sabian for my own Mars, I went to double check it. And here we have Mars at 14. And the Sabian for this is 2 Dutch children talking and studying their lessons together. Now, the old masters, we frequently, if any of you studied fine arts, we frequently talk about the old Dutch masters, which was Rembrandt and Van Eyck and friends like that. And they always have their own room in a museum. And because they were also realistic scenes, sometimes they can feel very realistic. And so it seems as if they're talking to each other. It seems as if they're coming to life. But the conversation between these two things here, which is what excites me, particularly given the conjunction towards the North Node, is that we have a seer looking into the future, right? With their creative energy as well. And what they see on the other side is the old masters hanging in a museum, in a special room dedicated only for the masters. And so what this says to me about this energy is that Right now, there is the potential for us to create things that go even beyond our potential consideration of what they could be, right? Like you do something and you don't necessarily think like, oh, this could one day be hanging in a museum. And what I'm saying is right now, that's the way you have to be thinking, right? Think about everything as if it could be something so much bigger than what you imagine. Now, let's think about Van Gogh for a second. Or Van Gogh, if you want to get technical. The poor guy never sold a painting, or he sold one to a prostitute friend of his, but he never sold a painting. And now his stuff, sells for $140, $200 million. So he unfortunately never knew that he was an incredible success and a master. So we may not necessarily get the confirmation in this lifetime of the potential impact of the things that we do, but whatever it is you're working on right now has the potential to be infused with energy of it being something so much greater than even we could possibly comprehend. So as you work on things, think about that. Carry that thought with you. What if what I'm doing right now ends up becoming bigger than I could ever imagine, right? Becomes so important. What kind of attention would you give to it? What kind of passion would you give to it? What kind of energy and drive would you put into something if you thought it was going to last forever? Right? And then we also have over here, we have Taurus in at 8 degrees. So he's in conversation with all these guys here. And then you have Saturn who's sextiling these planets in Aries, which doesn't frequently happen that that Saturn gives Aries a good vibe, but right now he's doing it. He's trining this North Node position here. He's squaring Uranus. It's a little bit wide. I tend to do smaller degrees for squares, but it's okay. And what this means is, so Uranus and Taurus can be like surprise, financial surprises, creative earthquakes, things like that. And this is Saturn in Uranus, but he's in his home. So this is the thing. So it's a normal square between Saturn and Uranus, and usually that's like a showdown. They hate each other, father, son, one's trying to kill the other. But in this case, Saturn's actually in Uranus's house. So he's trying to clean up. Uranus is making a mess and Saturn's trying to clean it up. So they're actually collaborating even though it's in a square. So whatever this, maybe that investment fell through, or maybe we found out it wasn't the right person, or maybe whatever, that actually that's something that's beneficial for you because he's cleaning up the messes so that only the good part of it, only the hopes and dreams get realized. And then, of course, we have Pluto over here at 26, who's not making any aspects to anyone. So he's, they say singleton planets can be troublesome or not. If you have a planet at the cardinals at 26 degrees, he is throwing you some transformation energy that's not necessarily bad. We can sometimes stay stuck in who we are. And so whatever planet is getting hit by Pluto is likely the planet that's helping unfold this whole moment of destiny. So before this gets too long, I just want to say that the message for me, and this will probably be the title of the video, is dream big right now, Aries. Like, act as if whatever you're doing is just going to be so much bigger than you, right? That painting you're making could one day be hanging in a special room in the master's collection in a museum. You may never know, but that doesn't mean it's not going to be important for humanity. So really infuse everything that you're doing now with that energy that you don't know necessarily how it's going to play out. You may see it in this lifetime, you may not, but treat everything that you're doing with the power that this may have an enormous impact that I won't know about, but will someday be hanging in a museum. Anyway, let me shut up now and get to the cards. Hello, Aries. How are you? Hope you enjoyed that full moon reading. I was so excited to do it. Anyway, I'm going to pick 3 cards here for the advice at the end. Our spirit animals. And then we'll get started with the tarot. So I won't have to, obviously I won't go into any more about the moon. We'll just focus here on the energy. Sorry. Hope everyone is doing well, enjoying your birthdays. Not too much like I did. Or at least okay to pay the price for it at the end of the day. Anyway, let's get started straight off. So can I get the energy, please, for Aries for the week of March 28th, 2021. Overall energy for Aries, week of March 28th, 2021. What did I say? What did I say? Dream big, right? I love this energy. Things manifesting, coming to life, miracles happening. I'm telling you, I was about to say I've been in Aries for 47 years. I have had solar return charts that have been so bad for like the last 15 years. Every year I was like, you've got to be kidding me. And this year's is so good. Mine, personal, and the ones I've been reading have been really great. So too much. Actually, I'm not going to take that because I was still talking. So I really love this year for us. I think it's really good. Can I get the challenge energy, please, for Aries for the week of March 28th? Like, I think it's really, we've been going through like a ton of shit for the last 10 years. Mine really started around, I want to say like 2010. Okay. And I think things are starting to happen. So what's the challenge? Stress. 7 of Wands here. So we may have too much going on. We may be worrying about the things that we're creating or that we're working on, or we can feel like we have too much going on, trying to dance on a ball with a monkey about to punch the hole in it, and everything comes crashing down. If you are feeling burnt out, overwhelmed, too much coming at you, which can be if you're not used to Mars and Gemini energy, take a break, right? Don't worry that I do this too sometimes. Like, I worry that I'm going to miss all the energy, and so I push myself over the limit, and then I end up being out of commission for 2 days. Understand that, again, that everything that you're doing right now is really infused with an incredible amount of divine power and divine energy, miraculous energy. So even if you have to put proper boundaries down to protect your health and your mental well-being, and need to come down, then do so. Make sure you get if you don't have a self-care routine, if you don't have a mental wellness, mental fitness routine or habit or whatever that you like to do, then please try and find one. Also, because I feel like things are going to be picking up for us. If some of us are working on things that are going to start expanding and getting bigger and really start manifesting and becoming miraculous. And so we need to have a really good self-care routine in place before that happens. Otherwise, we can burn out real quick. And you don't want to do that. I've been there, trust me. Actually, also, interesting note, I am looking for people who have suffered from burnout to do an interview for a podcast. If you are interested in being interviewed, please leave me a message below. Right, too many. What is the overall lesson for Aries this week, March 28th, 2021? March 28th. Okay, jumpers today. Soul expansion. Love it. So your consciousness is expanding. You understand the connection between all things. I remember it was interesting in the Sabians in the astrology reading, talk about the paintings seem to talk to each other, right? And then the degree for Mars was the two kids talking to each other. So there's lots of connections being made. They can be earthly connections, like you're finally meeting the right people, or you're starting to put together the dots. It's like, oh, okay. I was just looking at them as singular things, but now I see that if I connect them, it actually becomes something bigger. It becomes a constellation. And so, either piecing together the right people or piecing together your thoughts, which is another thing, I ended up landing on my current business because I was looking at one thing, I was looking at another thing, and I said, wait a second, if I put all these things together, if I triangulate them, they actually become a business. And so, look at the separate, like, stars, look at your stars separately. What are the things that you care about that seem potentially disparate, but if you put them together, they actually make something bigger. The sum is greater than what is it? The whole is greater than the sum of its parts. Anyway, that there's a bigger picture of the little things that you have that you care about. So starting to see how they can all fit together to become something much bigger and start expanding. Where's my other deck? Can I get beginning, ending energy for March 28th? But I told you the energy was good, right? When I saw that full moon chart, I was like, ooh, this is like, in my opinion, kind of like a once in a lifetime full moon. Okay. We have home and movement. Interesting. 27 and 28. The home came up completely in reversed, and I'm going to take the movement straight up. So maybe some of us are finally being allowed to be released from our homes, done with lockdowns, coming out of the home, but also like moving out of a period of protection, of stagnancy, of maybe wanting to stay in your comfort zone and really starting to move out there. And I know everyone who gets this card when I read for them, I say exactly the same thing. But what happens with this ostrich here is they have a windmill on their back, which means that the more they move, the more energy they generate, right? And the more that energy also powers this balloon so that the higher it can go. So if you're waiting for motivation to get going and the motivation will come, because as you move, the energy picks up and turns in. You see how it's like it starts as a small fire and it gets bigger as it goes up and up. So it's not a question of being sort of stagnant and fixed and in comfort zones anymore. It's really time for us to get out there. Get out there, be seen, start making new connections, make the dots, meet the people. It's a time when the miracle will find you. And again, because it's North Node, it may not be immediately obvious. Okay. 3 of Wands, ships coming in. So it may not be immediately obvious how the things that are happening to you right now can benefit in the future. I'll give you an example of on my North Node return back in 1996, on the day it was completely conjunct, my boyfriend at the time bought me a ticket to come to Italy. That trip ended up changing my life, and now I live here. So at the time, it just seemed like a normal thing, but that was the gesture that set in motion all the patterns that came after. So those are the kind of things, like miraculous happenings, that could also be happening. For some, they will be more obvious, more Uranus and Taurus, like you can't miss it. And for others, it's a seed that gets planted. Okay. Chariot, moving forward, movement, lovely. But like ready to charge into battle, ready to move forward. One more card, please. Ooh, okay. I'm going to just take this top one because when you get the answer you're looking for, you hang up the phone. There's the star. Hopes and dreams, wishes coming true, being granted, there's the cat, by the universe. Amazing. There is no bad cards on this table. When was the last time that happened? Just saying. Let me get one last piece of advice here, and then we'll turn these over. Oh, nice and short. You see, when I talk like I'm on crack, I can I can get these readings done really quick. Okay. Can I get one card for Aries, please? Week of March 28th. That one. Goddess Gaia and Ocean Jasper, goodwill. Let's see. Oh, and I open right up to it. So we bring you the empowerment of goodwill. There's a type of spiritual power you can co-create which benefits and protects you whilst mutually empowering others to take their journey and experience divine success. This spiritual power, known as goodwill, is generated by how you feel inside and the attitude you cultivate towards others. Remember, this is what I was saying, like, act in these moments as if you were going to be hanging in a museum one day as a master, right? That energy, that positivity in yourself, you begin to transmit to everyone else, kind of like this tornado here of positive energy. When you know you have value, it is easy to recognize the value in another. When you feel encouraged by the universe, it is easy to encourage others. As you put out support, encouragement, and goodwill for the success of all beings, this energy is amplified and returned to you. Amazing. So the more you believe in yourself and believe in this energy that's coming to you, the more you actually, I hit it, emanate it, right? And by putting that, you become the miraculous energy and you share it with other people. So impacting not only yourself and what you're meant to do, but also other people. And at the same time, drawing to you, because it's resonant energy, like finds like, drawing to you other people that match this. So building those connections of like-minded people who are making things happen, right? Being the change. So the more you embody that energy, the think big, the be big, the this could be amazing, the more you're going to find that energy comes back to you. Amazing. All right, so let's flip these over here. So this card is Dragonfly Spirit. Truth transcends illusion. Now, it would help if I had the book. Here it is. It's a 22. Okay. Dragonfly Spirit is here to remind you of the wisdom and truth available at all times in the hidden realms. Just as a dragonfly catches your eye with its reflective wings and body, excuse me, Dragonfly Spirit appears to tell you to pay attention to the truth beyond the illusion and recognize the insights that come seemingly out of nowhere, peeking through from behind the veil. In the realm of spirit, there's far more wisdom than you can perceive with your senses, and there is a deep knowing that you are not separate or alone, for a higher power recognizes you and loves you beyond measure. Fears dissipate as you realize you are embraced by the nurturing force that is everywhere, always in communication with you. Amazing. Alighting when you are preoccupied, Dragonfly Spirit offers this message. You exist in unity with all, including the protective spirits who share their wisdom, and you are being nudged along the path your soul needs to travel to have the experience it craves. Love exists in many forms, and sometimes we overlook it when we don't recognize a particular form. Pay attention to the signs now. Remember, you understand the connection between all things. So it may not have the shape that you are expecting. It could be something different. Pay attention to the signs now. They remind you that each of us have inspired dreams seamlessly sewn into the fabric of the invisible world. And there is a great consciousness that exists in the seemingly empty spaces, guiding us on our journey. Open to the truth, letting the wisdom of the hidden realms inform you, providing insights your conscious mind overlooks. Fantastic. Here we go. The wolf spirit, turn knowledge into wisdom. It's another thing about knowing. They're both kind of about knowing, right? And I said, like, what if you knew that it was going to be amazing or awesome? How would you react? How would you behave? 67. Any day now. Okay. Wolf Spirit leads you deep into the enchanted forest that holds the secrets to your life. Amazing. So many people getting like really good downloads on what you're here to do. I love this. Can you sense her beckoning you to follow, asking you to take all you have learned and all you are learning and make it yours? Can you integrate it all into your body, mind, and spirit? Whatever lessons you learned along the way, do not leave them unexamined. Be loyal to your dreams, to your soul, and to turning knowledge into wisdom and experience into magic. You are the one you have been waiting for, right? That's what I said. Don't wait, just start moving. Be still and know that the sound of your heart beats in harmony with the whole world. The appearance of wolf spirit is an auspicious omen that says you are truly in alignment with your own destiny. Love it. And finally, snake spirit, time to heal. Let's see what this is. Snake is also reminds me of Mercury, who will be joining us in Aries shortly. All of us need healing at times, and when snake spirit appears, it is time to repair, renew, and replenish yourself and your vulnerable heart. Self-care and maintenance work. I love how they always line up with exactly the cards that I put down. Self-care and maintenance work are needed so that your vitality can arise. Give yourself the space to nourish your own well-being. Vulnerability is necessary for friendships and partnerships to work, which means all of us will have tender emotions at times. Be gentle with yourself and others now, shed the past, and step into a new way of being, for vitality is rising in you. This might be a good time to honor the work you have done to heal, grow, and repair any damage within you, within those you care about, and within your community. Celebrate together how far all of you have come in your healing journey and all that you have created. Unburden yourself of anything that no longer supports wellness, prosperity, positive relationships, and well-being, and open the door for healing to occur. Incredible. I love this reading, and I love this moon. So I think that says it all. Of my enthusiasm should be contagious at this point. Wishing you all the very best. Do enjoy this moon. Very happy birthday to all Aries. I'm actually going to go live tonight. I know it's last minute, but now that I've read through this moon, I love this energy. It's at 8:45 my time, so I'm going to do it right under that. We'll do card pull. I'm not going to do a reading. If you're interested, tune in. I'll be pulling 3 cards for you. Overall energy, life, and love, overall energy, love, and work for the year. And I will see you then. Take care.